Boom Z, a conversation between generations. With a changing world today, it's become exceedingly important that there be a relationship between all generations. We live in an ever-changing world, and it will take the strengths of all generations to make a positive impact on our society.
And good afternoon, and welcome back to Boom Z Podcast. My name is Slammin' Sammy.
And I'm Nina Jabril, and this is the conversation between generations. Please, again, to be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share our video. And if you ever have any questions or want to be on our show, you can contact us at askus@boomzpodcast.com. We are still joined today, this episode, with Kia Wash and Skylar Caruso Kilpatrick. I hope I'm saying that the best way I can. They work at the Sherwood Autism Center in Kansas City, Missouri. And we want to finish our conversation about Gen Zs in the workplace.
Yes, absolutely. And we were really getting into it. Glad you guys hung around. I guess one question I have is, how are we going to survive the transition? Ms. Walsh.
The transition
from
when Skylar becomes a CEO.
When Gen Z starts running it.
Yes.
I think it's our job to teach them to run it.
Right? Repeat that again. Say that again.
Our job to teach them to. So it is about compromises. It's about leading by example. Because I was banging my head against the wall trying to figure this out, that's why we're having a mentoring program. Skylar's job is going to be to teach me. And so this is our second meeting. Our very first one, I laid the ground rules. I was like, you are my boss in this room. And this is not about a power dynamic. There's nothing that you can do that will get you fired, in trouble, or have any sort of performance knocking at you. It is my job to make sure that is ready. I'm not... Skylar has already done 2 promotions since she's been here, and my goal is for as far in this career as she wants to, and to support her. Since we tried to put in professional development on every level, if people want to grow, I see that as my job very much. I mean, just like the generation before me. Yesterday, I had my very first mentor. I got to tour. It's exciting, and I would love to be leading of that. Skylar is privileged. I want her to invite me back for a tour, and I want to be amazed at the things that she's done. So I think it's each one teach one. I really do believe.
And I have a question for Skylar. Like, have you worked somewhere previous to this, to Sherwood?
Oh, this was my first job out of college. Okay. I actually started as a teacher here. That I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't know what I really wanted to field. In this field, but I didn't know what. So I came in as a para, and I've worked to assistant teacher, hopefully teacher after that, and then who knows where me. But I worked in workplaces prior to that. I worked in college. I worked in a school, but I've never worked in like a nonprofit setting, and not like 5 days a week like I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It's very scattered.
I only ask this because like I've never had a boss that is like that, like compromising, and is like, I want to learn from you as well. And so like, how does that like feel? Like that actually has to be amazing.
No, it is something very special. I think the reason why I picture it is when you walk into the Sherwood doors, there's magical about it. I think the work we do for one, but I think when I first walked in, Kia was the first person I saw. I had never seen the facility here, and it's such a cool feeling to be able to have a relationship with the CEO of Sherwood. Is really awesome. Mm-hmm. It's something that you don't get every day, and I think it definitely needs to be talked about more because, like she said, how going to get better, how am I going to get better? It's learning from each other. We're a team, so I think that's very important to kind of tag on.
I partly think it's disgusting, quite frankly, when people have received titles and they move about a certain way. So we got a new maintenance tech here on campus yesterday, and I sent her an email Monday night saying hello. And then yesterday, when I saw her, I stopped and introduced myself, and she was kind of shy, and I just thought, okay, well, maybe she's shy. That's fine. We'll warm up. And then her supervisor came to me and he was like, she's never met a CEO. She's had jobs before here. How is that possible? That you don't know your team? We only have 50 employees at Sherwood. It is inconceivable to me that I don't know at least one thing about everyone.
Yeah.
I try to learn one thing about everyone. For a very long time, I was a person to do interviews. The feeling that Skylar is talking about at Sherwood is not on accident. It is an intentional creation of the leadership team. We wanted to feel a certain kind of way, and there are people now who believe in that vibe. I call it, have a vibe, and that's important. I'm not going to be here forever, and so Sherwood doesn't belong to me either. I think it's kind of like children. When I had my daughter, I wanted her to be a dancer.
You made a very good comment there. Sherwood doesn't belong to you.
Well, I'm going to tell you the story about how that came to be.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
when I had a daughter, I wanted her to be a dancer, and she's not that. And my mother said to me, she doesn't belong to you, you belong to her. And so I just walk about my life. Sherwood doesn't belong to it. It is my job to make sure it's safe, and it is here, and that I provide the best environment possible for the people who are doing the hardest work on this campus. I have a hard job. It is not a hard job. So,
One thing I want to make just a little observation. I think there's a difference between your thinking and my thinking because of the generation gap.
Yeah, you're a boomer.
Yeah, boomers were
hey, Boomer.
workaholics. I was raised in a household that my father was a business owner, so I've been working since I was 8 years old. I didn't get it unless I earned it, and I think now what I see are the trophy kids.
That's what he calls us.
Yes.
Which
What I mean, the trophy kid. I mean, I don't know whether she was a trophy kid or not, but I know that it happens. They give everybody a trophy for showing up, and to me, that takes away from earning and taking responsibility for something.
thrill of the climb.
I beg your pardon?
The thrill of the climb,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I used to be a workaholic. I think that sometimes I still can be. And that is really because of how I was raised. My parents, especially my father, was a workaholic. I find joy in my work. When I'm sad, I work harder. When I'm happy, I work harder. There is nothing more satisfying. And the pandemic gave me the gift of outside, right? So that, what I call the pause here, was really built to figure out what do I like outside of work, because it shifted the whole paradigm of work. The challenge is there is a generation of people who think they are all wonderful, and that continues to be a challenge for me, because after the participant trophy kids, where they all think they're wonderful for showing up, we have what I've learned to call the snowblower kids, whose parents moved every obstacle out of the way ever.
Yes.
They don't know how to fail. They don't know how to hear no. They don't know how to respect boundaries and authority and policy and procedure. And sometimes things are in place to keep people safe. And I have had to learn through, quite frankly, her most immediate supervisor, is the why. Very important. Right? You can't just say no. Mm-hmm. You can't just say you must go. I'll give an example that I heard. We have tornado drills, and the team was questioning where they had to go to tornado. At the meeting, I thought, kidding me, this is a question? not a question I would have ever asked, right? The people tell you where to go in a tornado drill. Go there. Well, our team, because they have been in the culture of asking questions. We have a hosted Coaching with Curiosity. They're like, well, why do we have to go in this room for the tornado drill? Well, it didn't kill me to do it. It's so crazy. I'm just like, go in the room.
This is a story that a friend of mine who works in the industry, he came by here and we just happened to be talking about it. And he was saying he was at Brevard College and he had some students they had been assigned to him to set up. They were setting up for a concert. And there was a nail sticking out of the stage and he wanted to fix it. He told the young man, said, go downstairs, there's a toolbox in there, and bring me a hammer. He said the guy walked off the side of the stage and he stopped and he opened his phone. He says, what are you looking for? Well, I'm trying to figure out what a hammer is.
I feel like that is,
I'm not finished.
a personal thing.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished. It's typical. It's typical. He said he when he figured out what the hammer was, he brought it back up. When he came back up, he had the hammer in his hand and he got back on the phone. So what are you doing now? I'm trying to figure out how to use a hammer.
No, that's a personal thing, I think.
But I have seen things like that. People just don't have a clue what it is.
Or it's kind of like they want to, like, because I know this was my problem. I'll probably know how to do something and know the answer, but I don't know why. The first thing I do is ask a question. And I'll say, I do that. You
want me to bring up something?
You don't, yeah. You can.
Skylar, do you know how to fix a label for shipping a package?
Oh, my gosh.
I could probably figure it out.
Okay. That was a great answer, which means you don't know, right? You don't know. And wait a minute. You don't know, because if you had known, you would have simply answered me. But those things, and it's not your fault. Nobody taught you how to do that. Nobody taught you how to do that. But it puzzles me how you can open a letter. You open mail, there's nothing different between an envelope addressing and a package. Nothing.
But it's the that you're talking about, right?
You said what now?
Biggest currency is attention.
Yeah.
That's currency. And so Nina would have known how to address the package if she paid attention to all the Amazon packages.
Right.
But they
don't pay attention to it. Yeah.
No, I'll admit that. I did it. And that, I did.
I mean, I'm not knocking you, but that amazed me. That just amazed me. We send packages.
It's useless information because they can look it up.
And we don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the problem that, and I told her this, the problem that I had with this was that, okay, she doesn't know how to address make a label for a package. Mm-hmm. But she asked me.
No, I didn't.
You did?
No, I didn't. I sat on that couch in there and I said, you said, did you make the label? I said, no. And you kind of looked at me and I was like, you were like, do you know how to? And I was like, no. And then you looked at me again. I said, I'll figure it out. And then you were like, no, sit down. And you were like trying to talk me through it. And that is my worst thing. It's like he tries to talk me through it. And it's like it gives me anxiety. It's like, and then I blank out for like fully. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure I could have walked over to my computer and been like, how do you create a shipping label?
But you asked me how rather than do it first. You asked me how first. That's what I
thought that it would take less than 2 minutes for me to figure that out.
Well, I'm not saying that you couldn't figure it out. I'm not saying that. I know she could figure it out. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about it. Most of them, when they're on the job, actually, when we do a lot of streaming, a lot of sporting events, I don't have a problem with them doing the job. They get the job just like that. Mm-hmm. What's the problem I have?
So many. Which one?
What's the main problem I have when you go to a job?
Oh, phones, right?
Phones. That's number
Yeah.
one. And what's number two?
Talk.
Michaela.
Eating on the job.
No, yeah, that's one. Eating on the job, coming to work, and you got a lunch bag, and you sit it down in front of the table, and you're supposed to be working. And number
Being
three,
on time.
being on time.
Yeah.
Being on time. To me, it doesn't matter what generation. If you go to a job, you got to be on time.
Yeah. That's
Do
true.
you agree, or do you allow that to be different?
I would say that I am not like most bosses. I expect my team for the people we serve right here. That's it.
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
Yes. Repeat that.
Here before we serve are here. Where the students are before our learners are here. If you're late, that's your money. It's okay. Just be when people get here and stay until they're gone.
Yeah.
Life is hard. And I recognize that. I don't believe, I'm going to make a sweeping generalization, that boomers believe that life is hard for Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is hard for him. I think it's extremely hard for him. I don't think it's easy for him.
Grace.
Huh?
Where do you give grace?
I don't give grace. Okay, like you can have a flexible time thing. I cannot afford to have a flexible time thing. I've got a little motto. You be on time. If you're late and something goes wrong, we deal with a lot of technical stuff. If something goes wrong and you're late, you have no excuse for your client.
Mm-hmm.
If you get there on time, 9 times out of 10, you got time to fix it before the 9th hour. So that's my priority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have grace for that. I don't have grace for time, although they do it all the darn time, and unless I take somebody's money, you know, they don't change. And I've had
What other ways do you show grace?
Say what?
What other ways do you show grace to your Gen Z employees? How do you compromise?
I compromise by trying to listen, particularly with their ideas about the business. And she'll tell you that. I ask their opinions all the time because I want that viewpoint. Most people my age, when it comes to technology, are way behind.
Look, I'm behind.
You're behind.
I feel like I'm even behind. I feel like the generation that is coming up are going to be way more.
Those iPad kids.
But I'm in the technology business, so I cannot be behind. But so far, but I draw on them to tell me these little new things.
I'll definitely say he's open for like if we like this podcast, it was like something I thought of, and he was just like, well, we can do it if you work for it, and like we're here and everything. So he does give us an opportunity to like try new things and venture out. So
I really want them to grow. That is my whole intention, is for them to grow, but to have some semblance of structure in the workplace.
And he said that since day one. He is hard on me, I'll say that, but like his goal is for me to be great. So I can appreciate that a lot.
Okay. Well, guys, it's getting to be about that time.
Oh, yeah.
I just you can't imagine how great it has been to have both of you all here.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. Have you enjoyed yourself? Maybe in a year you can come back and visit us again. We can see how this progress is going on. How about that?
That would be good.
So, Nina, tell them where to go.
Oh, if you want, well, let's start here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And again, if you want to come on our show or have any questions about this episode or the last, you can contact us at askus@boomzpodcast.com.
And thank you again, ladies.
We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Hit it.
How close out, Woe?
It's a TEM joint.